This is the third and final part of the super compact 9x9 cave door tutorial. Not too much to explain here, but I do explain how I managed to get in the harder parts, like the ceiling flattening for the middle block of the 3 quads on top. So without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. So now on to the top. We're going to start off with the triples. First of all, put 2 temporary blocks, then an observer facing down, repeater on top of it, break out your 2 temporary blocks, and then an observer, dust, block, block, and then a 2-tick repeater. Then put a block there, block up, 4-tick repeater, and then for now just put 2 blocks and dust. You'll need to change one of the blocks, but for now just put it like that. The reason for this weird setup is I need this piston to extend sooner than the rest, but I also need it to retract later, and also this secondary pulse for the double piston retraction bit needs to happen. So that's what this weird setup here does. As you can see, it works out just fine. This needs to be set to 3 ticks actually, but as you can see, there we go. That works just fine. That's why it looks really weird. Break this out and replace it with glass. I'll get onto why that's needed now. Put a block there, block up, and 2 down. Dust on those 4 blocks, and this is what the glass is needed for, so that you don't cut off the dust. Go over here. You can break out this block and this block for now. Observer facing down, and then replace your blocks. Then an observer facing in, running into an obsidian block, and then a 2-tick repeater. Dust right there. And then that is pretty much all the wiring for your triple that you can do for now. The final retraction will be coming from some of the inner double wiring, and I'll explain that a bit later. Put a block right there, 2-tick repeater, and then an observer chain running into that piston. This is for your double piston extender. So, if you were to flick your lever now, which I'm just going to demonstrate real quick, you can see that both your sides still extend, and you get the triple piston extension and the double extension on top. Those pistons break off at some point, and it doesn't work reliably. Sometimes they'll get pulled, sometimes they'll break off. But regardless, it doesn't matter, because the slime tower of this triple is only 2 blocks, meaning that it won't really mess up when it starts retracting. You flick the lever once more. You can see that you get the retraction of your double and the partial retraction of your triple. This, again, comes later and is incorporated into the wiring for this thing. You can just mirror this all to the back side now. So 2 temporary blocks, observer facing down, 1-tick repeater, and then observer, block, block, and then a 3-tick repeater, dust. Go down here. You need to break out a few blocks for this. Put an observer facing down and in, or replace your blocks, then in, running into obsidian, 2-tick repeater, dust, and then your 4-tick repeater, block, glass, 2 blocks, block up and down. For dust, 2 more dust, break that out. And then here you can get in the final retraction for your triple. Have an observer facing down, block next to it, and then 2 4-tick repeaters, just like so. Observer. And then, so, that is the wiring for your triple. Block, 2-tick repeater, and then the observer line running into there. There we are. And so that is the back triple and double all set up. Now to get on to a little bit of the wiring for your quad. First, start off by putting 2 dust, then break out these blocks. Put a block right there, and then an observer facing down, down. You can now replace everything that you had to break out. And then observers facing in towards that. On top of these observers, put 4-tick repeaters, dust, dust, and then cut it off with obsidian blocks. There we go. Obsidian block there, block, block, cut off that dust, and then another block there, 2 dust, and then a block to cut off that dust, 1-tick repeater, faced into an obsidian block. This is for the extension of your quad. These 2 pistons in the quad will extend first, but you still need the 3rd extension to happen before the 4th, because this dust can mess up everything. So this 1-tick repeater guarantees that these 3rd pistons in the extender extend before the 4th ones get powered in the wrong way. Put on 3 more blocks, cut off the dust in those 3 locations, and then dust all along there. Block, obsidian, 1-tick repeater facing into there, and then 2 1-tick repeaters facing into that dust. So these 1-tick repeaters will activate before this line activates, allowing it to extend properly. Go up here, place 2 temporary blocks, and then an observer facing down, there, and there. Observers facing in, 4-tick repeater, 4-tick repeater, 4 ticks and 4 ticks. Then put a block there with a 4-tick repeater on it. 3 more blocks, 4-tick repeater there. And then observer facing out towards the side, down, and back in. Block, and then a 2-tick repeater. You can mirror this to the other side. Observer facing towards the front, the side, down, and then in. Block, and then a 2-tick repeater. Go under these observers, temporary block, and then an observer facing down there and there. Observers facing in, just like so. 2 ticks, 2 ticks. And then actually remove these 2-tick repeaters. Place 4-tick repeater, 4-tick repeater, 2 ticks, 2 ticks, and then another set of 2 2-tick repeaters. Put an observer right there, then a 4-tick repeater right there for now. Glass block, and then a 4-tick repeater in front of that observer. Then finish off the chain. Same thing on this side. Glass block, 4-tick repeater, 2 observers, and then another 4-tick repeater. Put dust there and there. Glass, glass, dust on those 4, 2 more glass, 2 more dust. Then put 2 blocks there and there, dust on both of them, block up, down, and then a piston right here, faced into an obsidian block, and then a sticky piston with a block on its face, 1-tick repeater and a 4-tick repeater, torch there to activate the piston, and then do the same thing on this side, so up, down, running into a piston, 1-tick repeater, obsidian, torch, 4-tick repeater, and then a sticky piston right here with a block on its face. There we go. Go over here, put a block, and then another block, dust on the both of them, 3 blocks, 1-tick repeater, 1-tick, and then a 3-tick, then a block with dust, block right there, another block up, dust, dust, and then cut off the dust there and there, block up, and then 3 down, 3 1-tick repeaters, and then to activate this line, put a block there, block, block up, 2 dust, and then a 1-tick repeater. If you want this to all be symmetrical, you can run in the exact same thing from the other side. This will up the price, but it makes it look a little bit better from the side view. Of course, this is all just for symmetry, so you don't have to. Now, dust, block to cut off the dust, and then next to that block, a piston facing down with a container. Can't be a cauldron. It might be you might be able to use a composter, but I wouldn't recommend it because you need to have a big signal strength for this. Compare to there, and then I personally like a hopper because it's easier to fill. Get out 5 items. Doesn't really matter what item, so long as they don't have a stack size of 64, they only have a stack size of 1, and then fill the hopper to the brim. You can fill it to the brim with items with a stack size of 64, but it can, be a lot more. So this can be just any hopper filled to the brim is the easiest. Get out an observer, put 2 there, block up, down, and then 1 in front of that observer. 4-tick repeater running into that dust. Put a block there, there, up, and then 4 down. Break out that temporary block. 4-tick repeater, then get out dust, put it right there, and then your 4-tick repeaters, although this one, break it out, observer facing down and in, then replace the 4-tick repeater. Block, observer facing down, and then a 1-tick repeater on top, coming out of that block, and then a block right there. This right here is the final retraction for your triple piston extender, and this line is what runs into the piston that activates all of this. So that's what I meant when I said that the retraction of this triple and this triple is connected to the wiring of your inner double. 2 blocks, dust on both of them, 4 tick repeater on top of that piston, running into a block. Then you might need to break out some of your ceiling here. Observer facing down, in, or down up to the side, up, and then in towards that piston there. 4 tick repeater, running into that block. And then you can mostly mirror this, just put down 3 blocks, dust, 4 tick repeater running into a block. Now go over here, temporary block, sticky piston facing down with a block on its face, 3 blocks, dust, running into a block, and then a 2 tick repeater right there. Block, temporary block, and then a sticky piston facing down with a redstone block on its face. And then put block right there. Glass and a block. So obsidian, block, and glass. Then a 2 tick repeater. An observer facing down right there. 4 tick repeater on top of it. Observer facing in. Dust. Then go over here, put an observer facing in towards the middle of the door, and then a piston. This is the slider that'll help flatten the floor for your quad here. And then a piston right there to push it back over. Put a torch on the side of that piston, or this side. There we go. Block up and down. 1 tick repeater, a torch, and then another 1 tick repeater right there. You might need to break out that piston just to not mess up your quad. Obsidian, and then a piston, or just place your piston in first, and then obsidian to make it so that it doesn't extend. Then a redstone torch, and then a 1 tick repeater. And this right here is going to be running into your hopper pulse extender. There we go. Just like that. And then you need to get out 8 items, 8 throwaway items that you don't need. There we are. Hard to get it with a stack size of 40, but here we are. Got them. Put it there. Then a block, comparator, and then 2 observers. Put dust there, and then a glass block, dust, and dust right there. And so that is your inner double all connected. And then, yeah, you just need to mostly mirror that all to this side. It's a lot to mirror, but let's just get started. So, dust, block, and then your sticky piston facing down with the filled container. Whoop, let me quickly pick those back up. Let me just quickly empty my hotbar so I can get out some items to fill the container. Although, actually, no. So, you're going to need this for the other side, but you don't need it for the back. That's a good part of this door. You don't need to do that for the back. So, actually, it's quite simple to finish off this side. If I remember correctly, you just need to put in your repeater line with no observer this time. No observers this time because your triples retract themselves. There we go. Then put down a temporary block, and then a sticky piston facing down with a block on its face. 4 tick repeater, block, block, dust. Then you need to break out a little bit of your ceiling here. Observer facing down to the side, up, and in. There we go. 4 tick repeater, and then dust, and then a block. 4 blocks, 2 dust, 4 tick repeater there. And then go down here, put down 3 blocks, dust there, and a 2 tick repeater. Block, temporary block, and then a sticky piston facing down with a redstone block on its face. Get out glass, glass, block, and then obsidian. 2 tick repeater, 2 dust, glass there, and then an observer facing down, 4 tick repeater, dust, then an observer facing in, dust right there. Then observer facing in right here. You might need to break out that. Put a sticky, or just a piston facing down into a block of obsidian, and then your piston to slide it. You can now replace in the top pistons in your quad. There we are, just like so. Put a torch, block, block, 1 tick repeater, torch, and then a 1 tick repeater. Go over here, torch, block, 1 tick repeater. Oh, seems I've accidentally activated it. Fortunately, this shouldn't break up too much. Remove those, and then you can activate it again. There we go. And then you can now replace all these pistons. There we go. You can also replace these sealing blocks. And then put dust right there, and then a 1-tick repeater. And now here is your hopper pulse extender. You can get out 8 items, put them into this hopper, put a block, comparator, and then 2 observers. Just checking to make sure that I did that on the other side as well. Very good. And then that's all that set up. So now, if you do want to test your door, you need to put a repeater, 2 blocks and a repeater there for your hopper pulse extenders. This is just because they'll be locked from a different line over here, and that's not in yet. So flick your lever, and what you should see is you still have the extension of your quads, but now you've got the extension of your double in. There you are. So we're almost done, and when you flick the lever once more, alright, so I appear to have missed something. Yes, so those need to be 2-tick repeaters. I set them to 4, that explains it. So that should fix everything. I don't know why I set those to 4-tick repeaters. I made the same mistake while practicing for this tutorial. So now when you flick your lever, that will mess up, that's a given, because them extending at different times pushes the piston too far. But once you fix that, now your retraction should be all put together. So let's see, flick the lever once more. Once the cool down from the pressure plates is done, you have the full retraction. There we go. And part of the ceiling flattening. Can fill in these blocks. And of course, because this is sliding the observer back and forth, it pulsed the top piston in both of your quads, which is unfortunate, but it's nothing to worry about because once we get in the wiring for all of this, that'll fix itself. If you want to really quickly get in the floor flattening for this, or the ceiling flattening, just take an observer chain, run it into an obsidian block, and then go in here. It's going to be a little awkward to fit in, but here we are. Observer facing down to the side, and then 2 more down into that obsidian block right there. And then you can do this on this side as well. Down to the side, 2 down, and then an obsidian block. 3 down into an obsidian block. There we are. So now I guess we should get on to the wiring for this side. We're going to start again with the triples. 2 temporary blocks, observer facing down, 1-tick repeater, observer, block, block, and then a 3-tick repeater, dust. Then you can go over here, put an observer facing down. Now you need to break out these blocks again. There we are. And in, then a 2-tick repeater on this one, obsidian block right there, and then dust, block, block, 4-tick repeater, dust, or not dust, glass, block, and then 2 dust. Put down 4 blocks, 1 down, or 1 up and the rest down, and then 4 dust. And then now, once you've got that, put a block there, up, and then 3 down. Then an observer facing down and in. Block there, and then an observer facing down right here, with a 1-tick repeater coming out of that block on top of it. Then a block right there, 4-tick repeater into a block, and then you can replace that block. Get on out. And then I'm going to break that block just for a second so I can put the 4-tick repeater, then replace the block. Bunch of 4-tick repeaters, and then dust. There we go. Dust, and then a block to cut it off, because this is where your piston is going to be with the items in it. And that should be your triple done. Block, 2-tick repeater, and then your observer chain running into there, just like so. And then you can remove this little setup here because you've now got all of this locking your hoppers. Go over here, put an observer facing down and in, then put 4-tick repeater, 4-tick repeater, then an observer facing down and in, 4-tick and a 2-tick. And now that I think about it, I'm not going to do the quads quite yet, so I guess you can just leave that there. But I think it's best to do the triples first. So 2 temporary blocks, observer facing down and in, then your 1-tick, block there and there, 3-tick repeater, and then a dust, block there, 4-tick repeater. Then you can get out your observers, have an observer facing down right there, the 4-tick repeater on its face, block, 4-tick repeater, then block right there, replace that block, and then a 4-tick repeater running into a block, just like so. And now once you've got that, glass, block, dust, then your 4 blocks, dust on them. Go in here, observer facing down and in, and then a 2-tick repeater, replace these blocks, dust, then a block of obsidian, and then that should be that triple done. Block, 2-tick repeater, then your observers just like so. Now for your repeater line, very big. You can remove that and that, and then have all these 4-tick repeaters running into it, just like so. There we are. And then so now, give the lever a flick. You should see that now you have the triples on both sides in, as well as your inner doubles, and the only thing you're missing now is this one set of quads. Otherwise, you're pretty much done, and so I'm going to be showing you how to get in the other quad, or the other set of quads. There we are. So, now for this quad, or this set of quads. So you've got in all of this, put a block there, and there, 4-tick repeater, obsidian, and then a 2-tick repeater this time, not 4. Not making that mistake. Although I've positioned it incorrectly, so remove all that. Alright. I'm going to quickly retract the quads. There we are. There we go. Now, observer facing down and in, down and in. 2 4-tick repeaters there, 2 4-tick repeaters there, block, 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 then a 4-tick repeater and a 4-tick repeater there and there. Observer facing towards the front, side, down, and then back in. Although before that, I'm going to put in the 2-tick repeater and now in. Here we go. Observer facing towards the back, block with the 2-tick repeater, side, down, and in. There we go. Break out these blocks. Observer facing down there and there. You can fill in your ceiling again. Then in. Dust there and there. Observer. Observer. Oop. Oop. 4-tick repeater. 4-tick repeater. 2 1-ticks and then dust. Block with dust. Then a block with dust. And actually just break this out real quick and put in these 2-tick repeaters before I forget. Because once you put this block there, they're inaccessible. There we are. Scratch that. Remove all that. 4-tick repeater, 4-tick repeater, 2-tick, 2-tick, and now you can put in these 2 ticks. And then now you can put in this block with dust on it. There's a lot of order to this that makes it so that it doesn't break while building. 5 blocks, and then 5 to cut off the dust. Dust all along there. Block, obsidian, and then a 1-tick. Block, obsidian, and then a 1-tick repeater. There we are. Glass. 4 dust. Ah, I messed it up. Alright. Well, anyways. Glass and dust. sticky piston with block, and then sticky piston with a block. There we are. And when I said I messed it up, that doesn't mean that it's all out of whack. Fortunately, I didn't change any repeater timings that would have like broken it or pushed it at the wrong time. It just means that this bottom piston right here retracted or extended and retracted, which doesn't break anything. Put dust there and there, and then put block, 3 blocks down, 1 tick, and a 3 tick, 3 blocks down, and then 3 1-tick repeaters, block, and then a block, 3 dust, and then go over here, block up, and then up, down, 1-tick repeater, and then 2 dust. Now put a glass block there, 4-tick repeater, and then 2 observers. Same thing on the back side, so glass block, 4-tick repeater, and then 2 observers. There we go. And then, so now block, and then a piston, 1-tick repeater, dust, block to cut off the dust, and then put a block right there, torch, and then a 4-tick repeater right there, block, and then a piston facing into obsidian, 1-tick repeater, 4-tick repeater, and a torch, and then dust with a block to cut off the dust. And then, so now, I believe you're almost done. Put down observer there and there, block up, block down, break out that block, and then put a 4-tick repeater. And now, when you give it a test, the hope is that you will see it all finish. But it appears as though I've forgotten something. Let's see. Ah, yes. Piston facing down with a filled hopper. There we go. Now, unfortunately, this will break your middle pistons here, but they are fixable and won't break on the extension again once you fix them. There we go. And then, so now, I believe that is your door completed. Just need to give a test on the opening. I appear to have forgotten something. And I think I know what it is. These need to be 2 ticks. I always forget this. Oh my gosh. Alright. There we go. Goodness gracious me. This is 2 times the issue has occurred. Now let's see. Middle blocks will break, unfortunately. But again, they don't break on the extension. That's just because that one of them had started extending a little too early because it broke. Here we are. Now, you flick the lever. It should all open properly. There we go. So yeah, that's it for this door. I hope you all enjoyed this video. It's taken a very, very long time to record. As of when I'm recording this, I'm on like 5th day, maybe even 6th of working on it. I haven't been keeping track, but it's been a while. And so, yep, sorry for the massive delay on this, but I hope you all enjoyed regardless. I hope that this door comes in use to some of you. And yeah, that's just about it for this video. I'm ViscoScomb24, and I'll see you next time.